So, the headliner's all off. It's a wonderful sunny day out. Interior temperature right now is reading about 90 degrees, and this is low. I'm sure if it was sitting up here, it'd be a lot, hotter. Now, let's take a look at the roof. 148 degrees. Wow. That's pretty toasty. Huh. So, I don't know if this sound deadener stuff is actually going to keep the temperatures down, but something else you could look into is also some kind of insulator to keep the outside temperatures out and the inside temperatures in, whether that be hot or cold. So, just something interesting to think about before you roast yourself in a little XJ oven. So, here's what we're using today. This is a product made by FatMat, and we're using Rattle Trap. They have two different versions. They have the regular FatMat sound deadener and then the Rattle Trap sound deadener. And the only difference that I saw is the thickness of the deadener that they use. I know that the Rattle Trap stuff is 80 mils thick. I think that's, 80 thousandths of an inch or something like that. I got 50 square feet. And this is what it looked like. Just a big old roll of stuff. On one end is shiny aluminum, and on the other end is wax paper that covers the rubber. So it's just a big old roll of this stuff. And all we're going to do is cut it up and put it all over the roof. For the roof, I measured the dimensions, and it came out to about 32 square feet. So I figure I'll be able to do the roof and most of the doors, I would think. The only thing that I'm probably not going to be able to get to is these rear panels and the rear hatch. I could have got the 75 foot and done everything, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm really just concerned about the roof right now. The 50 square foot is definitely one of the better deals. I was gonna get the 36, but for 10 bucks more you get 50. Their prices vary quite a lot depending on how much you get. The more you get, the cheaper it is per square foot. The reason why I went with FatMat instead of something like Dynamat or something like that is this is a lot cheaper. And it's also some of the thickest stuff I could find. At 80 mils, it is the thickest stuff I could find, and it's the cheapest per square foot, just about. A lot of people have been using Peel and Seal, which you can get from Lowe's, Home Depot, any other home improvement store like that. And that kind of works. It does the job, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. But since they use asphalt and crap like that in their flashing, it might smell in hotter weather. Some people say it doesn't. Some people says it does. And, for a little bit more, I figure I'll just get the right shit that's actually meant for the job, because this is also a lot thicker than Peel and Seal, too. So, enough blabbering. Let's get around to actually putting this stuff up. Alright, I noticed there's a bunch of white crap on the roof, so I'm going to give it a good wash down before we start sticking everything down. Make sure it's got a good clean surface to contact to. Alright. Their kit comes with a couple little things. They give you a nice little razor knife that you can use to cut the material with. They give you a wooden roller, a sticker, and some basic instructions. It's not super difficult though. You just take this stuff and cut it into strips and start putting it up. The warmer this is, the better. If you let it sit and at least get up to room temperature, it'll be doing great. Since the roof is so hot, eventually it'll warm up and get real sticky. But the warmer it is, the more pliable and movable it is. So if you got a heat gun or a hair dryer or something like that, that'll really help in colder temperatures. But I'm just going to let this hang out in the sun for a little while, and it should be fine. For overhead use, they recommend cutting it into 5 to 6 inch strips, so it's small and easy to work with. But yeah, I would say we're going to cut it, leave the wax on until you're definitely ready to put it on, but the smaller the better. It's a lot easier to work with smaller strips and move it around and get it up there. And we're going to be doing a lot of overhead work, so I hope you're ready for a workout. I sure am. They just say to make sure that the surfaces are clean and dry. It has to be dry. The water will mess with the adhesion, along with oils. You want to make sure there's no oils or any crap up there, so avoid trying to touch the sticky stuff as much as possible. So, I'm going to let this warm up, and then we'll start cutting it. Alright, want to make the cutting job easier? Get yourself a straight edge. So, I guess I'll follow their recommended instructions and go to about 6 inches or so. And we'll see how hard this stuff is to put up. But yeah, straight edges are going to make this easy. Okay, I figure we'll start at the front. So we got our strip cut out right here. And I'm going to position them this way, see how that works out for me, if, you know, length or whatever. So we're gonna do this and, you know, see how it goes. Alright, we're working our way up right now. This is our second strip. It's definitely a lot easier to work with small pieces because, especially in hot weather like this, with this roof being 150 degrees, dude, this stuff gets sticky fast. You better make sure you put it on exactly where you want it, because you aren't moving it once it gets on there. It's sticky. But, yeah, it just kind of sits on there. I've heard warnings that the aluminum edges here are sharp, so, you know, try and be careful when you're running your fingers across them and whatnot. The roller that they include in the kit is probably the weakest link of it. This is a real shitty roller, and when you put pressure on it, the ends start to bend, and it just doesn't roll straight. So if you want to actually use a roller, I would definitely say, you know, buy one or, you know, look one up. A weighted one would be a lot better, something that has weight to it. That way you can really push it around and whatnot. So, I'm going to keep cutting some strips. Maybe I'll set a camera up sometime soon. Alright, so it's getting up there. I just want you to hear some sounds first, though. So this is what it sounds like when the door closes. It's got a little bit of that tin can noise, but that's because, you know, there's no headliner, but... Sounds about the same, but we'll see if it sounds any better when the entire roof's done. Alright, quick update right here. I'm finding this is really easy. I'm just using the back of my, the trunk of my Civic right here to cut this out. You put some cardboard down to protect the paint and everything so you don't cut too deep. You just let this sit out in the sun. So, you know, you cut your strip with the straight edge or whatever, and it gets it mostly straight. And then just make sure that it lets it sit out. So by the time that you're done putting up the stuff on the roof, this is nice and warm and ready to go. It's actually working really well. Nice and efficient. So, here's one whole strip right here. Now, you know, definitely if you can cut these straight and also get them to sit up in the front straight, then these will look a lot better. I kept cutting mine a little crooked or whatnot, but whatever. What are you going to do? Nobody's going to see this shit anyway. So, over in the corner, once you get to the end, that's the important part. You want to measure how much you have left and cut a smaller strip just to fill that in. I was getting held up by one of them rubber grommets in the roof, so I couldn't really get all the way in there, but, you know, it's not terrible for a first-timer. The smaller strips definitely make this easier. It's slightly more time-consuming, but in hot weather, this stuff is so floppy, it's just really hard to work with, so these small little strips here are perfect. So, I guess we'll continue towards the back. Time-lapse time. Okay, so when you put this on here, think of it kind of like when you're doing some kind of film or something on glass. You want to try and get all the air bubbles out by rolling it, especially in crevices and whatnot. The more surface contact you have, the more effective this stuff is. So, just make sure you roll it and everything's really on there. We're getting there. Here's the next section done. Oh, God. That's a lot of work. I'll tell you what, though, it's a lot easier with, you know, being able to sit. Definitely sounds like it's more dampened. It's not so tinny anymore. Oh, God. Still one more back to go. That should be interesting. Oh, boy. Now we get to make careful cuts. Alright, we're in the back of the truck now. All that's done. If you notice, I even cut around for the dome light section here. So I tried to get underneath as much as I could. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But for the most part, it's kind of under there. Helps a little bit because this whole bar moves around just a little bit, and I want to make sure that doesn't vibrate or anything like that. I might cover it in some of the rattle trap as well, because I got plenty of it. But there you go. That's the roof done for the most part. Oh, God. Thank God I have seats. This would suck if, like, all your seats were out and everything and you didn't have something to sit on. Oh, man, you'd have some upper body strength after you were done with this job. Let's see how much we got left. So I still got this much left. That's a fair, decent amount. So this is 50 square feet, and I don't know how much is left. We probably didn't use the 32 that we needed, but you know, there's still, honestly, like almost half a roll left, maybe a little less, but still. That's enough to do quite a lot. Maybe I'll be able to get the doors and the hatch, who knows? And this is all the leftover stuff, all the smaller strips I had to cut. I'm just saving them for little spots and pieces that I need to get in and fill in, but that's the roof for the most part. Looking pretty snazzy. Definitely a lot less tingy. That's a very, just a basic thud now. That's not bad. None of the doors are closed, but let's see how the tank sounds. A little better. This stuff still rattles around a lot. We'll have to see if we can find all the rattly bits and cover them and stick them up real good, but getting there. Okay, so all this FatMat's been up for a little while. Now, if we take our temperature gun, hold on. Now, if we take our temperature gun and point it at this, we're probably going to end up getting a reflection off of it instead of the actual reading. Because if you point it right up like this, it reads like 87. But if we point it over here, this isn't as reflective. That's reading about 105. So that's not too bad. So, you know, that's a 40 to 45 degree difference, which is going to make a huge difference inside the car, because that means not as much heat's getting radiated down. And you can comfortably touch this. It doesn't hurt. It's definitely warm for sure. It's probably in, you know, 90s, 95s, probably 100, but, you know, it's a lot better than 150. So, I'd say this is doing pretty good. It's quieter, it's cooler, shinier. I'm kind of liking it so far. This is pretty neat. Plenty more to go through, too. I gotta figure out where else I want to put it. Alright, let's move on to the door, see if we can get these a little quieter. It's a little tinny. So my plan is to pop the speaker out and peel this plastic off, and I'm going to put some here and whatever I can get all up inside here. See how hard that is. It looks like there's a little piece of factory sound deadener. I don't know if I should take it out or leave it. Should probably take it out. Okay, so I'm all up in here now. I went from the bottom and I just used the full 18 inches. And I went up as high as I could kind of go. So I got most of everything up there. Good portion of it. So let's listen to it now. Big difference. Not so tingy anymore. A little quieter. So I guess I'll take this plastic crap off and try and cover some of this, and definitely get around the speaker area, so that way everything gets in. It's not being wasted out the back. Alright, so I got all the plastic off, cleaned it up. Looks pretty nice now, don't it? Spiffy. Quite a decent amount of plastic. That glue really knows how to hold on. That's a pain in the ass. But it's all pretty much clean. So, yeah, I'm going to start covering stuff. Things to be aware of are, you know, things that you shouldn't be covering. Things like important screw holes, all these little holes down here where the trim will snap into place. I'm missing one of my door things, so I'm not going to cover that up. I don't know if I want to cover the hole or not. I feel like if I ever have to get in here for some reason, it's going to be a pain in the ass to peel it all off. And, you know, if I do want to cover that hole later, I'm sure I'll have plenty of spares, so maybe I'll just go around it, see what I can do. But focusing around the speaker area is going to be important here. Alright, start laying it on. Here's what the door looks like right now. So I got a big patch here. It seems to get most of the noise. And then I just ran 2 strips here and made sure to get the speaker. I took the speaker out and got around underneath it and whatnot. And now the speaker is sitting against it real nice. So it should be good now. I tried knocking around on it and I don't hear much else going on. The helicopter. I'd have to say that's pretty muffled. Alright, not really any use wasting any more on here. It's good enough for me. Let's put the skin back on. So I got the driver's door done. Lots of fun there. I decided to cover a bit more on this side just because it was making weird vibrations when you hit on it. But I got everything on the inside. And I even got some, I got this strip down here. I got this whole section. So most of this side's covered. I'm mostly happy with it. I mean, when you knock on it, it's quiet. But the thing that bothers me is if you hit it with the back of your palm, something's vibrating. I don't know what, but it's none of the inside panels. It's got to be something in the back somewhere, because I'm not seeing anything anywhere. It's just something I won't be able to fix. So hopefully that's not something that I'll be able to actually hear when we're driving or whatever, but everything else is pretty good. Happy with it, so I'll throw the door skin back on. Alright, well, since we have so much left over, I'm going to start moving to the back door. So, we just got a couple sections here that we got to take off. You got 3 screws, and then 2 underneath here, and then this whole skin will come off. So, same process in the front. We got to sit there and take all this stupid plastic wrap off. Hopefully the glue comes off a little easier when it's hot. Yeah, it's stuck on there good. Alright, cleaned it up. Got the sound deadener out of there. So, with this door, I think most of it's going to go on the outside, or you know, the outer skin, and then I'll maybe put some parts on the inside, but for the most part there's not a whole lot to cover here, and since there's not a speaker, there's not a whole lot of vibration going on. I mean, you got little tings here and there, so I'll try and get the bigger portions of the panel, but yeah, it's definitely a lot more tingy without the stock deadener in there, so let's see if we can't quiet that up a bit. Okay, so for instance with this sheet right here that I got cut out, I cut out a section here and a section here for the door, and also don't forget about your door pockets and stuff like that. So once you get the flat part down, then you got to start working it into the crevices, because this is all about surface contact. The more material it's touching, the more vibrations it can absorb. And it's pretty workable. It's actually kind of surprising how much that aluminum really gives. But you just kind of get in all the cracks and whatnot and get it to sit where it needs to. And you actually start seeing the outline of the door and stuff now. But you just really push it in there. And what I found works pretty well is the edge of the roller. Once you get a basic little design going, you take the edge of it and really push it in there. And that'll get you all that wonderful surface contact that you need. You just work all the edges like that until it's all good and on there. Alright, so this is what I've got so far. If we come down in here, you can see it went pretty high up. And I staggered them. So you can see I just kind of kept going. And I did that to follow the door. So that pretty much solidifies everything back there, and then I just put a sheet here. So a lot better. Much more quiet. This side's pretty much done, so I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Alright. So, here's the passenger rear door. Got all the good inside stuff. Did it just like I did the other side. So, it's pretty good now. I'm happy with it. Alright, let's put the skin on and move on to the hatch. Oh, I kind of forgot that the liftgate's got all these weird pockets. And it's also fiberglass, so I don't even know if it would be worth it to put all this stuff on there. Unless I just do these strips or something just near the speakers, but I don't know. Okay, so this is what I decided to do with the tailgate. I got a strip on each side, a little strip there, and I actually reused part of the front door up there. So I just got a little section behind it in case that actually helps at all. I did notice there's a giant hole here. I don't know if that would be worth covering up or not, but I don't care. Same on the other side. So I don't know if that's actually going to do anything or not. There's not a big difference, so I'm not going to worry about messing around with it, but I figure at least this way it might help the sound get where it's supposed to go a little better. So I think that's just about everything, so I might take this for another drive and see how it sounds on the highway. So after I put all that stuff up, we still got this much left over. I still got 8 foot of this stuff. So yeah, 50 square feet, that really goes pretty far. If you're going to do the floors, obviously you're going to need more than me, but for everything that I've done, 50 feet was more than enough. I still have 12 square foot left over. So, yeah, cool. So I guess I'll have to find somewhere else to put it, but I like the stuff. It's pretty easy to work with. It's cheap, or, you know, cheaper. It's thick. I don't really have any complaints. It's cool stuff. I like it. Well, after that drive, I've noticed a couple things. One, wind noise is definitely cut down. It's not as windy sounding or just loud in general. It is definitely quieter. But because of, I guess, the way that the sound deadener is, you know, sound deadening, since I didn't put any in the floors, I can hear the tires a little more now. So you notice the tire roar more than you did before. But as for the radio test, usually I'd have to listen to it at about 30 or 31 to hear it comfortably and overall the sound. Now it's sitting at somewhere between 25 and 26, and I use the same radio station and everything. So I'm rather impressed. It brought my radio level down 5 clicks, so that's cool. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Definitely makes it sound more pleasing. It's not so much of a drone in the ear anymore, and I'm glad I did it. You know, it was definitely worth it. You know. Took a little bit of time, but you know, if you're trying to make your ride just a little quieter, this stuff definitely does it. Now, I'm sure you'd get some much better results if you could do it on the floor as well, but since I don't have carpet and all that good stuff, I'll have to find some other way around that. But yeah, that's sound deadening from a guy who doesn't know crap about sound deadening. So yeah, hope you enjoy.